Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here.
I had a special request from Benjamin to make game pieces for Dungeons and Dragons, so I made swords, axes, and lances, and I figured out the designs on Wire Lady TV. I'll link up the live stream replay. You'll need flush cutters, flat pliers, round nose pliers, and I have the Beetle on bail making pliers. Plus, I'm using 20 gauge and 22 gauge artistic wire. We are going to start with 7 inches of the 20 gauge artistic wire in the silver color, and we are going to use our bail making pliers to curve out the wire and then bend it back on a sharp angle with our Xuron tweezer nose pliers. So now we are going to make the curve of the axe with the end of a marker. I like to use the Crayola markers, and if it's too large, use the smaller end just to tighten up that curve, and then bend the wire back with the tweezer nose pliers. So you have a nice crisp bend, and then we are going to bend around the wire and just adjust it so the sides are the same, and from there we are going to bend the wires straight down to form the handle. Now we have to curve out the end of the axe. We can do that with our pliers and our finger. Adjust it how you like. Just curve it around. The wire's nice and soft, and then hold the wire with the tweezer nose pliers and bend it back on a sharp angle. Hold the wire with some round nose pliers and curve it around down for the handle, and then you can tighten up the bends so they're more of a right angle. Just pinch it a little bit with the pliers and tighten up those angles. Tweezer nose pliers are great for this. So now we're going to hold the wires together and wrap with 22 gauge wire, leave a couple inches at the end, and then just pulling it nice and tightly, wrap it around those 2 wires. Take your time with it. Try to make a nice tight coil. You can pinch the wires in if they're not tight enough, and just keep winding it around, keeping the wires together for the handle, and push it straight up so it's nice and tight up near the blade, and keep winding it down till it's the length you want. It could be about 1.5 inches to 1 3/4 inches, and then bend out one of the wires to clip it off. And then for the other wire, we're going to finish it just into a little triangle shape for the handle. And then we're just going to use the tweezer nose pliers, make some sharp little bends, push the wire against the pliers with your thumb, hold it firmly, push the wire around, and it will finish there. So we need to cut it flush. Those are the Xuron flush cutters, and pinch it flat so there's no pokey ends. And now for the top, we just want to wind it around the blade to hold it in place, and also to make a cool little crisscross formation. So we're just going to wind it around a couple of times on either side, bring it around to the other side there, and crisscross over top so it looks a bit like an X, like it's being wrapped. And just pull it firmly. Use your pliers if you need to pull it a little bit more. And we're going to finish it at the back. So clip it flush, push in those little pokey ends so it's not scratchy, just using the tweezer nose pliers. And you can do any little adjustments that you need. And there is the axe. So now we are going to do the sword. So take about 4 inches of the 20 gauge wire and bend it at a sharp angle, almost at the halfway point, not quite. And then we want to really pinch in the wire So it's a sharp, sharp point. And now you have to slightly separate the wires on either side. So using the tweezer nose pliers or flat nose pliers, push out the wires so they go out at an angle and you still have that sharp point. And now we're going to bend the wires in a little bit at about 1/4 inch. Flip it around and do the same on the other side. Just give it a sharp little bend at about 1/4 inch and pull the wires straight up. So now we're going to hold those two wires together and wrap with the 22 gauge wire. So hold it firmly and just wind it around with the wire. You can do these swords with 18 gauge wire and wrap with 20 gauge wire. It's just a little stiffer. Now we'll measure about 1 3/4 inches, however long you want the sword to be. We're going to clip one of the gold wires and then clip one of the silver wires. And then we're going to bend one of the silver wires to the side and clip it to about 3/8 of an inch and just turn it around with the round pliers to make a finished loop at the end. Pinch it in. And then now we are going to form the handle. So we're curving out that 22 gauge wire and we're going to bend it with the round nose pliers and then curve it around. So this part will be at the front of the sword. So just bring it around to make a nice curved handle and then bend it to the back. So it's the same on both sides and curve it around towards the back. And now we just need to wrap it around to hold it in place. So we're going to bring the wire around one full turn, and then we want to do a little crisscross to make it a little more fancy and to make it nice and finished. So we'll crisscross the wire at the front and we want to finish it at the back. So we'll give it a little clip and you can pinch it in place and do any little adjustments that you need. If you need to pinch the wires closer together, you can do that. You can adjust the handle just with your tweezer nose pliers, and there is the sword. So for the lance, I tried a few different designs on the live stream, and this one turned out quite well. So we're just going to measure about 1 inch from the bottom. We've bent the wire in half, and now we're going to bend it towards the middle at about 1 inch. So just measure it as long as it's the same on both sides. So the wires are crisscross. We're going to hold it firmly with our pliers and do the twist. And the key to the twist is to keep the wires out at an even angle as we twist. So just hold it firmly, twist it around as long as you want it, maybe about 1 inch. And then we want to clip off one end. So we're just going to bring it around, pull it firmly, and then we can clip off that one wire with the flush cutters and pinch it in. You don't want any little pokey ends. And now we're just going to form a simple handle. So bend the wire up and across, and then we're going to bend it down again, just straight down, and then we just want to bend it up one more time in the center of the handle. That way we can just clip it flush just below that top wire. And when we push it with the flat pliers, that little pokey end will sit nicely and it won't be scratchy. So now we need our 22 gauge wire. We're going to start about 3-4 inches from the end and wind it up the handle. You can make this wind loose or tight, however you like the look of it. So just wind it straight up, bringing it up towards the handle, and then down at the lower part, we're going to wind it around that blade. So we're just going to loosely wind it around towards the bottom. You can do as many winds as you like. We're just going to bring it down and down, maybe about 6 times. Depends on how big you make this. And just loosely bring it around towards the bottom. You don't want to compress the sides of the blade. Now just string it through the tip. Pull it with your flat pliers. I cut my wire a little bit long. Better too long than too short. And now we are going to clip it with the flush cutters. And we'll do the same at the top. Give it a little clip. And push in those little pokey ends at the bottom as well. We're just going to push it and then just give it a little pinch at the bottom. And just rotate it in. And there is your lens.
So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire art and jewelry, be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to sign up below, I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.